Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Paterson, here again with another video. In my last video, I told a story about my sort of journey into being a freelance designer, and it was titled, How Not to Be Afraid to Become Freelance. There's a comment at the top of that video that talked about how people aren't afraid to be freelance, they're just afraid to actually charge more or to even charge for their services. So in this video, I'm going to give you some tips and also show you why you should not be afraid. I think knowledge is power, and when you're able to communicate why you should be paid and justify why you should be paid for the services that you give, it makes it a whole lot easier to pay or to charge for your services, whether you're a logo designer, a painter, or someone who just does freelance work. It doesn't matter, you should be paid, and here's how you can do that. This video is brought to you by FreshBooks. Okay, so the first thing you need to remember and to always keep on your mind about the job that you're doing is value. Value, value, value. You provide value for companies and they need to reciprocate that value. Now, whenever I do a logo design job or whenever I do some hand lettering for a company, I am enhancing or giving that company value. They are able to take what I have done and they're able to make money off of that. For instance, if I worked for a company in a logo design, they're looking to rebrand and they want to obviously make their company bigger, better, and make more money. Now, I can have two responses to this. I can either be scared to charge them, or I could understand the value that I'm giving to them. So let's say it is a small coffee shop that is looking to branch out and create another coffee shop somewhere else in another town or city. They're looking for a fresh new logo for that coffee shop in the city. So what am I going to do? One, I want to work out how much value it will give to them for that piece of work that I've done. I work that out by asking them what it means to them to have a new brand and what they're going to do and what the goals are with their company and their new brand. Then I give them a price to the value that I'm going to be giving to them. So for a logo, I could be charging anywhere between $1,000 to $10,000 for a logo for a small coffee shop, and this will incorporate a whole brand identity and guideline system, and within there I'm giving them such huge value. Now, a lot of the time I get an email back saying that they can't afford that, and you know, that is fine. I always say to people that can't afford me, depending on the project, that they can come back to me if they want to when they can afford me, but this is how much it costs. I do obviously negotiate to an extent, but I don't ever negotiate on the value price. One thing that I'm constantly learning when it comes to pricing and evaluating how much I'm going to charge someone is that people are going to say no a lot of the time. A lot of clients will say that that is too much, and do you know what? That is okay. We fall into a trap in this Western world and our dreams and desires to become a designer or someone who's their own boss by thinking that we need to have this client, otherwise we're not going to be paid ever again, or we need this for the bills, and I can understand that. The only problem with this though is that you are compromising on the value of the work that you're giving, and even though you got the small amount of payment, sometimes it makes us feel better, but you could have gotten paid a lot more. A lot of the time, even I say no when I get a counter offer, to the extent of where people knock hundreds of pounds off or thousands of pounds off a logo design, and I say no, I can't do it for that price. And you know, a lot of people would say that that's really weird that I would just say no to a project because they've cancelled out a bit of the price, but I don't see it that way. I've got other projects to be getting on with. My money doesn't just come from logo design, it comes from a lot of other places. So just to recap that tiny little point that I was trying to make, don't feel like you have to say yes to projects. In fact, you should be saying no more often because you need to not compromise on what you charge. Just like Apple doesn't compromise in anything that they charge, they just charge that because that's how much it costs. And I see the same for my work. This is how much it costs. I can justify it because I do more work than it costs, and I always like to surprise my clients. The value that I'm creating for the client is reciprocated in the payment that I'm going to get, and if they don't value the work as much as I value it, then we've got a communication error here, and I don't really want to work with people that can't value like that. Obviously, sometimes people can't genuinely afford it and you can work with them on that, but for a business level, you've got to have in mind that it's okay to say no and miss out on that project so you can work for another project. The second thing that I think about when it comes to charging clients to make me not afraid to charge them is to understand how much time I'm putting into this. Again, from a logo design point of view, I spend a lot of time researching and designing, and I do it mainly off my own back. I do get other people to help me sometimes just to have a look at the logo or to even come up with a few concepts. and that is fine. But the logo takes a long time for me personally to create, and every creative is different. I don't think people should be penalized for working quickly or slowly on a logo. Just making sure that you actually get the deadline correct, so you're actually handing the work for the deadline, is more than enough. The third thing I think about when I'm charging for my services is how much money they are going to make on the work that I've made for them. If I was to do some work for a large company on some hand lettering for, let's say, like an advertising campaign, I know that they're going to make a lot of money off of what I've done. So I don't have any qualms about charging for that, because that is the value that they're going to give to me. I'm not afraid to charge a large amount because I know that they're going to make a lot of money as well. And this comes from research. So when you get an email from a company, whether it is like, a huge corporate company or a small one, do your research, see how big they are, see how much value it would be for them to have your work. And the fourth way that I actually look at charging clients is I don't see it as a charge, I see it as an investment. This may seem like a really weird terminology to some, but a logo design and branding is actually an investment into the company. It's not just something that's a product that you can buy, like a computer for your company. It's an investment into something huge. I always explain to my clients or potential clients that when you buy into me, you're investing your money, because you're going to make that money back and more because of what I'm doing. And when you see it like that, you start to feel less afraid, because you're like, wait a minute, these people are going to be making money too. So I can make money off of this as well. And it's like a big ecosystem, a great economy plan where you can actually create and get paid for it, because your creations are going to allow them to make more money. So everyone is winning. And especially when it comes to logo design and branding, because I want the clients that I work with to succeed and to make as much money as possible and to do as good as possible in their business and to be as nice as possible. So the way to do that is by doing the best possible work. And the way to do the best possible work is by paying me in the best possible way. And the last thing I think about when I'm charging a client that you should also think about is that you're not here to design something, you're here to solve a problem. You've probably heard it before said by me and other people that designers are problem solvers. The problem being the business does not have a face for the company. The solution would be to hire someone who can solve that problem. Then comes along me or someone else who can design a logo or a decent brand for a company. They are investing and they are trusting this person or this group of people to solve the problems that they have. Maybe the problem is that we're trying to target this market in a better way. The solution would be to design the logo in a certain way. You are the person with the solution to do that, so we're going to hire you for that. And when you start to think like this in a business sort of way, that you are actually a problem solver, you are hired to solve a problem, which is like in any other case you are solving a problem or making something better, then it becomes a heck of a lot easier just to charge for your work. Now, what I'm not saying is that you should charge millions of dollars for a logo designer. What I'm saying is to fairly charge people for the work, for the value that you're giving. So don't skimp out on people. And if you're someone on here that's looking for a logo design and to see how much people charge for it, then just understand that the designers, or most designers, are looking to create value for your business. They're there to make you more money, and the way to get them to work the best that they can is by paying them in the best that they can, and for you to trust the process. When it comes to being a freelance designer or someone who's freelancing and creating their own business, you have to have a creative mind, but also equally have a business mind. For you to create the best creations possible and to not worry about your income, you have to make money for that. So you need to have a creative mind and a business mind. Put them together. Imagine these two little circles. What's in the middle is where you want to be. You want to be that person in the middle where you have got a creative passion and a job, and you have a business mind to make money. Put them together. That area in the center is exactly where you want to be, because that's where you make the money as a freelancer. And that's where, if you make money, you have time to create side projects, and it means that you can take on more projects or less projects, but for better money. It all works together. So guys, I hope this helped you. I know this is a massive thing, especially for teenage designers that are looking to either go to uni or just go straight to freelance. It's a massive thing, and having a business brain and learning the business side of design is just as important as learning as your skills, if not more important, because you need to live. I would just like to thank the sponsors of this video, FreshBooks. FreshBooks is an online invoicing platform where you can send invoices, chase up payments, gather expenses and record them all in one app online. I use FreshBooks every day to record all my expenses. I also use it to invoice clients. And probably one of the best things about FreshBooks is that when you send an invoice to a client or whoever it is, you can see if someone's viewed that invoice. You can also automatically charge late payment fees, which is great for designers who are really on the ball about getting their payments chased up. There are so many great features on FreshBooks to help us designers with invoicing and recording our payments. So FreshBooks are giving us 30 days, 1 month completely free of FreshBooks for you to try out. It works over here in the UK and it works in America and loads of other places. So click that link in the description below and also tell them that I sent you to them, just so they know that I'm actually supporting them and that you guys are going to them. But guys, thank you so much for watching this video. And if you stayed right to the end, I wanted to tell you that I am coming to America. And I know a lot of you guys, most of my audience, I think about 80% of you guys live in America. And I'm coming to America in January. So make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter to hear more about my trip in America. I'll be there for a while doing different things and I'd love to meet you guys at certain events. If you have any ideas for events, put them in the comments below and I'll be sure to try and attend. Thank you so much for watching this video and I'll catch you in the next one. See you soon.